Welcome to New Sky TV. Today I would like to introduce to you gentle stories about love and sweet moments of famous people. This is so addictive. The bathtub kiss clip has sent hearts racing across the internet. Yuxin and Xiaoxu, without uttering a single I love you, portrayed a love even more intense than I love you. This scene had no elaborate background music, no deliberate dialogue, only the sounds of water, breathing, and the undisguised emotions in their eyes, restraint, suppression, and yet, loss of control. Yuxin paused slightly, her eyes flickering with hesitation, while Xiaoxu approached step by step, whispering, "Don't move." The camera shifted, steam filled the air, and the moment their lips touched, time seemed to stand still. The comments section exploded. "This isn't a kissing scene, it's a soul connection, they weren't acting, they were in love, this couple is amazing." Not a single drop of water spilled, yet they created a tsunami. The 10-second video garnered over 200 million views and dominated the trending topics list for 3 consecutive days. The director revealed that there were no retakes for this scene. Before filming, Xiaoxu didn't rehearse lines with Yuxin, only saying, "Trust me." Yuxin's gentle smile in response became the most irreplaceable impromptu moment in the entire film. At that moment, she wasn't acting, she had fallen into the depths of emotion. Some say it's the most real kiss in recent years, no filters, no cliches, just two hearts drawing closer in their most vulnerable moment. The bathtub was no longer just a prop, but a testament to their love. Now, the bathtub kiss has become one of the most talked about scenes of the year. Although the two haven't officially announced their relationship, every time they appear together, it ignites the entire internet. Perhaps this is the most touching form of love, no need to say I love you, yet everyone hears that silent confession. At that moment, the air seemed to freeze, and the water in the bathtub gently rippled. Yuxin's eyelashes trembled twice, her eyes filled with panic, shock, and a hint of barely concealed excitement. Xiaoxu's hand was warm and firm, his fingertips trembling slightly, yet he couldn't bear to let go. Their breaths mingled, so close they could hear each other's heartbeats. Later, a crew member said that after that take, the set was silent for a full 10 seconds, no one dared to utter a sound. The director looked up at the monitor, his eyes red-rimmed, and simply said, "No need to film anymore, this take is enough." The intensity of the emotion transcended the realm of acting. This accidental kiss became the most touching moment in the entire series. Some say it was a dialogue of souls beyond the script. He said "Don't be afraid" with his eyes, and she responded with silence, "I understand." The unscripted lines were more profound than any romantic words off camera. The two were subtly changed by this scene. On the day filming wrapped, Xiaoxu handed Yuxin a cup of hot water and whispered, "At that moment, I really didn't want to stop." Yuxin smiled, didn't answer, but simply took a sip, her eyes glistening. Netizens went wild, sharing the post, "This isn't acting, love just walked into the script." They weren't acting roles, they were acting out their destined soulmates. Sometimes, the most touching love isn't declarations or confessions, but the quiet, overflowing reality, a kiss, a glance, an unspoken thought. The bathtub kiss wasn't just acting, it was more like a meeting of souls. On the day of filming, the crew said the entire set was eerily quiet, you could hear even breathing. Xiaoxu's eyes darkened, he was completely immersed in the role. The director yelled cut, but he didn't hear it, continuing to hold Yuxin. That subconscious closeness, that momentary loss of control, was entirely instinctive. Yuxin paused for a second, but didn't push him away. Instead, she gently closed her eyes, responding naturally, as if her body already knew how to move, her soul already understood the lines. Later, the director recalled that this scene wasn't in the plan at all. He looked at the monitor, his whole body covered in goosebumps. At that moment, he understood that the so-called acting had actually been taken over by genuine emotion. This short drama, only a few minutes long, without a high budget or excessive filters, garnered over 100 million views. Viewers weren't watching the plot, but rather the emotional resonance. The warmth of their hearts, the ambiguity of their breaths, could be felt even through the screen. Some said, they weren't acting as lovers, they were reuniting with the softest part of their hearts. After filming the scene, Xiaoxu remained silent for a long time, only saying, "I can't forget the light in her eyes." Yuxin replied with a smile, "That wasn't light, it was a story." Perhaps this is their secret. The script was fictional, but the emotions were real. Neither of them said "I like you," but that bathtub kiss was heard by the whole world. It is precisely because of this that the bathtub kiss possesses that irreplaceable truth. The original novel is about unrequited love becoming reality, but what they portrayed was the very act of falling in love. Liu Xiaoxu's gaze towards her wasn't the character's affection, but the person's genuine attraction. The moment Guo Yuxin lowered her head, even the audience could feel the softness of her evasive yet unwilling to avoidance demeanor. They didn't deliberately create an ambiguous atmosphere, yet emotions grew naturally in every exchange of glances. It wasn't technique, but resonance. The two seemed to be whispering to the world in their own way, "So this is what it's like to like someone." The platform promoted them because people liked them. What the audience loved wasn't formulaic sweet talk, but the authenticity of that moment. Some said, they weren't acting, they were using their characters to say what they themselves dared not say. That's why those few minutes could make hearts race and compel viewers to watch again and again. Sometimes, the most powerful thing isn't dialogue, but silence, not the script, but the eyes. Those emotions that can't be hidden are the most touching confessions. Truly moving emotions don't need build-up, don't need close-ups. A single moment of sincerity is enough to be remembered for a lifetime. Guo Yuxin and Liu Xiaoxu, with just a few minutes of performance, told everyone, love doesn't have to be spoken. As long as you're sincere, the world will hear you. Thus, the bathtub kiss became the kind of scene that gets more and more captivating the more you watch it. Not because the plot was complex, but because the authenticity was so rare. On screen, they were characters. Off screen, they seemed still caught up in that emotion. After filming, Liu Xiaoxu leaned silently against the wall, his gaze still somewhat unfocused. Guo Yuxin walked over, gently patted his shoulder, and said, "We're done filming." He replied, "But I feel like I haven't quite come out of it yet." The staff laughed, saying they were too immersed in their roles. But only they knew that that scene had grown from their hearts. There was no rehearsal, no preparation, all the emotions erupted in that moment, that instinctive closeness, like souls finding their home. Later, the two appeared together on a program again, and the host jokingly asked, "Was that scene pre-planned?" Liu Xiaoxu smiled, offering no explanation. Guo Yuxin simply said, "Some emotions don't need rehearsal." At that moment, the entire audience fell silent. Everyone understood, it was their unspoken understanding, a kind of emotional connection that transcended the characters. Netizens say that the bathtub kiss captures the highest level of romance, relying not on dialogue or special effects, but solely on genuine emotion. That kiss is a turning point in the story and a testament to their feelings. It makes one believe that true love is never loud, yet it can transcend all lenses and distances, striking straight to the heart. Perhaps this is the most captivating aspect of short dramas, capturing the most precious moment of love in just a few minutes, real, thrilling, and unrepeatable. After behind-the-scenes footage was released, the internet erupted in excitement once again. Someone captured a frame of their eye contact, saying it wasn't just eye contact, but a heart-to-heart conversation. That tender tension was enough to make anyone blush, even through the screen. The comment section was flooded with comments like, "Are they acting, or are they actually dating?" And this is true immersion, portraying the initial stages of love. Even industry directors couldn't help but praise, "This scene has no trace of technique, only the flow of emotion." This statement further solidified netizens' belief that Liu Xiaoxu and Guo Yuxin are the most chemistry-driven on-screen couple. The coincidences of them wearing matching necklaces and posting social media on the same day kept fans up all night. Actually, what's most touching isn't how sweet the story is, but the actors' genuine emotions. After filming, Guo Yuxin whispered in an interview, "At that moment, he was really looking at me, not at the character." That short sentence is more moving than any promotional material. Liu Xiaoxu responded, "I was afraid that after that scene, I would never find the same feeling again." There were no further explanations between them, yet they silently wrote the most romantic dialogue. Some say this is the magic of unrequited love becoming reality, a story from the script becoming a tender echo in real life now. The bathtub kiss is no longer just a scene, but a symbol, representing a love that is quiet and unassuming, yet powerful enough to strike the heart. It tells all viewers, true love doesn't need to be loudly proclaimed. A glance, a breath, is enough to speak volumes.